All right, I got different types of wood laid out here. I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm going to show you what you don't want to use. And I picked this up back here in the backyard. Something like this, you know, fell out of a tree, covered in fungus, mushrooms. It's pretty much rotted, what they call punky. You don't want to use that. This stuff's soft. It's you know, you break it with your hand. You don't want to be cooking with moldy stuff. Speaking of mold, here's a block I've got. So we got a little bit of black mold on it, where some fungus was. It was on the ground, wet. I'll actually throw this piece away. I kept it so I could do this video, but that came with the last batch of the block wood I got. So yeah, don't use that. If you got a fire pit, something like that, it's fine, but I wouldn't cook with that. You got splits, all different sizes here. You got these bigger splits, and this is actually from one of the blocks I got. It's a larger chunk. And some smaller ones. Sometimes I'll take these like this and split them into two, and I'll explain why in a second. And then if you got access to something like I do, you get, you know, big blocks of wood. That's oak. So you got that. You get large wood chunks, small wood chunks. Small wood chunks, they're better for like a small, like a barrel smoker, Weber Smoky Mountain, Weber Kettle. These are gonna burn up really fast in an offset. Chunks like this will be fine in an offset. You're just going to end up managing your fire a lot more if you put things like that in there. Okay, talk about sizes here. Most places you're going to get splits like this. When I get them from my wood guy, actually where I got these two, this is what you'll get. Now, if your fire is getting low, but you've got a good bed of coals in there, then you know you can put one of these in and be fine. Now, if it's a cold day like this and your fire is getting low and you're kind of combating low ambient temperature as well, then I'll put something like this in there, because this will catch and it'll burn a little longer without having to worry about managing the fire. If you just need an increase of, like, you know, 15, 20, 30 degrees, something like that, that's where small splits like this come into play. If you got a good bed of embers midway through the cook, you know, you've got a good split in there, but you just want to boost the temperature by about 20 to 30 degrees, then it's good to have some splits like this on hand. You'll take one of these and stick it in there, and that'll give you about a 25, 30 degree increase in temperature. And these blocks, I actually, they come really large. I'll show you here. I've got a bunch of them over here. These big, so I got one that's huge there. But those blocks, I split those down, and they'll be either halves or thirds. So a lot of them are just pieces like that. Those are good for just supplement your wood supply. Most of that is oak and hickory. Some of your most common will be oak. You can use red oak or white oak. It's a good middle of the road, medium, mild flavor. It's not overpowering. Really, it comes down to taste. Something like oak, I've done chicken, beef, pork, lamb. I've done all of it on oak and had good results. Easy to split. In fact, Texas post oak is predominantly what they use down there, especially for Central Texas, which is the majority of the barbecue I try to mimic. Hickory, predominant across the South. Here in North Carolina, most people use hickory. Places like East Texas, they'll use it. This stuff is a little more bold than oak. Very stringy, a lot harder to split. So, good flavor. I use a combination of oak and hickory on a lot of my cooks out here. Now for like South and West Texas, mesquite is very popular. It don't grow around here. I wanted some for the video, and I do use chunks for direct heat cooking on the kettle. So this is mesquite. I won't smoke with it. You can smoke with it, but it needs to be something where it's really a short cook time. This stuff, you use too much of it, it'll overpower your meat. Direct heat, I'll cook something for 15 minutes and use a couple mesquite chunks or some chips, and you can definitely taste it, more so than if I would have used chips from oak or hickory. Then over here you've got fruit woods. These are the three most common. Got apple, cherry, and pecan, however you want to say it. Around here we usually say pecan or pecan, whatever. People say it different everywhere. A lot of people will use pecan with hickory, or interchangeable with hickory. Smoked briskets and all that. A lot of times your fruit woods, like over here, your apple, your cherry, typically people will use for milder stuff, chicken. I use it for sausages. I make my own sausages, and I really like apple and cherry for that. It's not overpowering. Sausages usually a couple hours, hour and a half, something like that. I don't cold smoke my sausages. Not yet. I will at some point, but usually I have fresh sausage, so I start with fresh and I smoke them. It's about a 2-hour cook. I've had really good results with apple and cherry on that. And like on this box of mesquite, like I said, you'll see it and it'll be great for this and that and the other. But if you wanted to, you could probably put that on chicken. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Everything just comes to taste. Now chicken has a lighter flavor than something like beef or lamb, so I wouldn't use much if I put it on chicken. But you definitely don't have to follow these. It's just guidelines. You know, you cook and smoke to your taste, what you enjoy, what you like. There's no right or wrong way to do it.